Well, more now on the pressure on the Prime Minister to order a Hillsborough-style inquiry into a scandal involving contaminated blood in the NHS. My colleague Neil Patterson spoke earlier with the former Health Secretary and Mayor for Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, and asked him on what evidence he could pursue an investigation.
I've got extensive evidence that's been sent to me by the many victims of various crimes, in my view. Falsification of medical records, people being tested for hepatitis C, HIV without their knowledge or consent. Also, positive diagnoses of HIV and Hep C being withheld from people, and those people not knowing that they had it, subsequently then infecting partners or other family members. Serious, serious allegations. And I've always said that it's better if they're investigated via a public inquiry, or a form of public inquiry, because we need to match up the papers held at local level by hospitals and by local bodies with the paperwork in the Department of Health. So it's much preferable for the victims that we have a national Hillsborough-style inquiry into contaminated blood, because that could get to the truth, in my view, more quickly than a police investigation. But I am being quite clear with the government. If they fail to set up an inquiry, I will take my evidence to the police.
Certainly some incredibly serious allegations. Who is it alleged was responsible for example, the carrying out of tests without the individual's knowledge? Is the suggestion that this was orchestrated by central government concerns or by health authorities?
Well, we don't know that at the moment. What we do know is that is something that many people claim happened to them. And I have got evidence of that. And in some cases, the knowledge of the test and the results were withheld for many years after the event. So you can imagine all of the potential then for further infection and the problems that came, the health problems that could have fallen to those individuals as a result of that. So very serious issues that, quite frankly, have been brushed under the carpet. And now, this isn't about party politics. Let me make this very clear. All political parties have failed the victims of contaminated blood. That goes without saying. What they must now do, though, together, is come together to try and put it right. And that's why this letter today is so significant.
Well, as you say, I mean, this contaminated blood scandal goes all the way back to the 70s and the 80s. There have been successive governments, including ones that you have been a cabinet minister for, that have ignored the cries for an inquiry. Why have successive governments backed away from looking into this properly, in your mind?
I don't know, and that's something that the inquiry, as and when it is held, and I believe now it's becoming much more likely as a result of this intervention today, will have to establish. We have David Owen, somebody as respected as Lord Owen, saying that his ministerial papers were destroyed. So evidence that he held personally was destroyed by the government. A hugely significant issue. Who ordered that? Because that's something we don't know. So this is the whole purpose of saying we need a full inquiry into all of these matters, so that we can establish if there was an orchestrated cover-up, which I believe there was, and if so, who ordered it.
If the government has said on a number of occasions that no liability has been shown, presumably you disagree with that. But if the calls for an inquiry are ignored and you take this evidence to the police, what crimes do you suggest have been committed?
Well, there is one that I would point to, which really sickens me, and actually there's an echo of Hillsborough in it, and that is of a gentleman who was infected with blood products, and his widow only recently got access to his medical notes, and what she saw in his medical notes repeated allegations that this gentleman was an alcoholic. She says utterly false. He liked the odd glass of wine with his family, and his family would still bear witness to that. He was not in any way, shape or form an alcoholic, and yet that is what his medical notes say, that he liked a few beers. These are the notes that are added into his file, because they were trying to suggest, of course, that his liver damage was caused by that and not by the negligence of him being treated with faulty blood products. that for me is completely outrageous. It's an echo of what was done to the Hillsborough victims, in that it was a device, if you like, to blame the victims rather than focus where blame should be looked at, the authorities. And that is the evidence that I have submitted to the Department of Health, and I await to hear their reply. And as I say, if they don't do anything with it, I will take it to the police.
The Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, talking to Neil Patterson a little bit earlier on.